Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this session. So this is the office hours for Allegory Capital. My name is Haider, and I'm the GP, and I'm going to be hosting you for the next few minutes. Just explaining, first of all, what are those office hours? Office hours are pretty simple. This is us opening the door on our practice, basically explaining what is it we do, answering potential questions on how we think, how we see the world, what do we see every day that could be of interest for the community out there. Sometimes we do have people that we invite because we want to ask a question to the ecosystem directly. Those people could be investors, could be our own team, could be startups. Both startups we want to discover together, or startups we invested in the past. So all in all, what we wanted to do is just creating a space where we can exchange and where we can talk about different topics that are, in our opinion, not discussed enough. So to be also connecting with season one, if you followed us last year, we started to do a season one where we did exactly the same, just creating a big FAQ where we helped pretty much ourselves as well to take the pulse on the ecosystem. In the meantime, a lot of things happened. We were not too quiet, but we were basically also watching the environment, which is pretty tough still for VCs. A lot of people are keeping that dry powder because of the AI bubble, and a lot of the issues are still in the system because some founders are running out of investments, and it's becoming quite tough to exist without having a proper solid investment line. So let's go back to our thesis. So we fine-tuned it a little bit. We wanted to still focus on two things that, in our opinion, is critical for regulated industries. Those regulated industries like fintech, climate tech, or digital health, they provide a very complicated framework to penetrate. So we know that if I take digital health, which I know well, we know that you cannot that easily build a scalable platform as well as building scientific evidence. And this is just, you know, the barriers to entry are very high, and that requires a very solid go-to-market strategy. And fortunately, we've been there as a team. We've seen how to penetrate at least the healthcare systems, and that's how we wanted to help those startups in this space. So complexity is one, and also agility is a second. So a lot of founders have sometimes a really fantastic experience building a clinically graded device, but it doesn't mean that this is enough to bring the product into millions of patient hands or to hundreds of thousands of HCPs. And that's why we also feel there is a need for building or structuring those startups in a different way so that they can be fit for purpose. We can talk about the AI piece a little bit later. I guess a lot of people are, in the latest conferences I've been doing, curious of the impact of the AI bubble on classical, I would say, regulated fields. We can come to that in a second. I just wanted to come back on our thesis because profoundly it didn't change much compared to what we were positioned on 2-3 years ago, but because we are actively looking for new partners to help us deliver this at scale, we felt it's good to reinforce the message. So we feel that there is a unique aspect to us is on the bridging aspect of our team between corporation and startups. We know both very well, and it seems to us that we could be at ease, at least to building those connections and transferring value between those two. So imagine that being a VC, bringing customers to a startup is not an often promise, but this is what we aim to do: is to create a value chain where a corporation can rely on the ecosystem of innovators outside to be faster and impacting at least the target audiences faster and bringing value scientifically or from a business perspective, if it is fintech, much more effectively using startups. So this is one thing that we feel is our sweet spot. So we defined it much stronger. We also feel that a lot of the funding capabilities is focused on the IP side, and we feel that we could help with our go-to-market models, kickstart a growth engine. And this is where we strike differently when it comes to investors, to LPs, but also to corporation and startups. Our goal is to create a venture that can become a market leader. So if you're a founder listening to this and you're thinking, okay, but what does it mean? It means that if you have a great IP and you've been building it for 5-8 years and you never sold it, we are not going to be a good match. We really want to have a connection with funders that wants to go out there, test their product fast and scale. So this is one. And how we do this, because we tested different models, we tested different recipes to scale those regulated products. And we've seen that we can impact the top line revenue of corporations when it is done properly. And this is a model we want to replicate. So we've started doing it in digital health. We tested it in fintech. We tested it in climate tech. And it seems that there is a replicable strategy there. And the more we have use cases, the more we have startups we can test this go-to-market model, the better we can basically impact everyone. So that's one thing. And the last piece where we feel there is a greater bridge is between Western Europe and the US. For many reasons, the US have been a natural fit for many companies because of the size of the market, the fact that from a language perspective it's easy, and also because of the way it is regulated, where it has some regulation, but it also fairly unique, because once you know how to crack one regulation, you can actually scale very fast, and the business models are also different. So that's why we felt, because of the team being between Western Europe and the US, this is going to be an interesting way to help scale European startups. And vice versa, I can imagine also US startups interested to go global and basically come to the EU and Switzerland. So that's pretty much what is it. So it has not massively changed. It has just been fine-tuned to be clearer and to reinforce the message on to whom we provide value. So look at this like a bridge, basically. On the transfers of value, what we felt could be interesting to both parties. So as I can repeat here, right? Regulated industries are usually on the lookout for faster agents, and startups can be a really good one. So we've seen innovation labs, we've seen accelerators, we've seen all those initiatives. The problem that we felt happens so often is it's usually done for a few rounds, and then projects will never really scale. What here, from a VC perspective, this is really an investment that is going to not only be aligned on the value chain of the startups and the corporation, but also, if done right, it's going to be a strategic investment, and that portfolio is going to provide fruition to both parties and the investors behind. So that's pretty much on the thesis part. Now, just looking back at the market situation, because preparing this office hours, I look at the questions that I receive on on different streams, from emails to LinkedIn to Twitter, to different areas. One thing that is striking is the bootstrapping that we felt is going to happen last year is really, really happening. Everyone is super happy that you can develop an app by vibe coding it, which is great, right? You can easily test ideas, you can easily kill them, you can easily decide if something is worth exploring or not. So I feel we use that as well, right? We use those vibe coding tools to quickly iterate ideas. Now, from what we've seen, there is a bit of a difference between vibe coding and kind of being happy to have something presentable and a production ready that can absorb complexity. And this is where there is kind of a false promise that some vibe coding companies might over promise here. Is you don't get necessarily a bulletproof product. You need a team behind, and that team will help you navigate those regulated industries better. So just to be clear, I'm not saying we don't like it, we don't believe in it. I think it's a tool like it is for anything. It needs to be used smartly for the right context. So that's pretty much where we see this almost 6 times less cost, to go from 0 to 1 with an idea, which is great if you're from nothing to a seed. I would say this is where you want to have this impact. Where it is going to be, we discussed last year that bootstrapping is on the rise. I believe that you will have a lot more initiatives like that, where you're going to be surrounded with so many pitch. Everyone is going to wake up with a good idea, and cutting through the noise, you have to be pretty good with your tools to identify the right signals. For me, the right signals will be founders that understand how to penetrate this market. And if you focus like us on market share and business penetration, you don't really care if a good idea is a good idea. If it has traction, it has traction. Then it's a good problem to have to equip the founders with the right people. Then this other piece we posted a few days ago, but I think it's important. I like this slide from OpenVC. It's because everyone is kind of puzzled about the venture capital space, especially in Switzerland. Everyone is looking at private equity and family offices, saying, maybe I'm going to them to pay for the hefty overload of SaaS and AI tokens cost. And if you have a good idea and you feel that there is a 10x difference between what the market is today and what you guys are bringing, some companies out there didn't really went the VC route for long. So if you look at this slide, this is connected to my bootstrapping claim just before. If you have more and more people bootstrapping, and if those bootstrappers are doing a good job, they are not going to need a lot of venture capital money if they scale the way they should scale. When I feel there is this feeling of, let's go to raise VC money, is when it's not that clear of the product market fit between the lovable idea and what the market is ready to pay. So just to be on the safe side here, we see much more bootstrappers, but the rounds here are, because of AI, also getting crazier. That's why when I talk with other venture capital firms, whether it's in Switzerland or in Europe or the US, it tends now to be very fragmented. You have like big boys investing a lot of money in a lot of rounds when the AI topic is fairly prominent, and a lot of VC focused, industry focused folks and teams out there are a bit careful. I will use the word careful, and I think we will be among us as well to be, careful, because it's really, really hard to see a seed round at 5 million or 10 million, and if you're a small fund trying to follow. So yeah, it's just the way it is. It feels like the leagues are getting, bigger, and it's harder to compete in there. Yeah. So that pretty much is what we wanted to share. We also partnered with our consulting sister company to bring you a service where you can follow the latest news around startups and innovation. The link is often in the comment section of our post. So if you are trying to basically keep with the startup news and what's what, and how to actually be on the pulse of the industry, we developed this actually it's AI driven. There is a bot we trained to actually bring us what's relevant in the regulated industries we evolve. So if you want also to ask us questions and to discuss, you will see that it's a kind of a community, like a community, and it acts like a little LinkedIn, and so you can chat there, and you can basically react to those articles that we cherry picked. Okay. So the heart of the question that we collected the last few months. So a lot of people wanted to join our venture partnership pool. And we've done a series of emails, asking people if they will be interested. And some of you came to, and thank you for showing your interest into that. And it's really hard to identify the right fit, because we wanted to not waste your time, first of all, not waste ours, and also identify the right match. So after a few iterations, and by testing this with some of you, we identified that a venture partner for us is someone that has a territory expertise or a category expertise. Like you can have you can know the UK market, for example, and you can be very good at digital health startup in cardiovascular. This way of splitting our distributed model will mean that we'll have a lot of venture partners down the line that we need to structure in terms of which venture partner will go to which startups. And also the startups, sometimes they already have quite a lot of advisors already, and we need to be also not too heavy when we come to them. So for this, what we want to do is to be very clear at what is a job description of a venture partner, what it means for the startups and for us. And this is what you see on this slide. So there is a monitoring aspect, which is easy because we have already a framework. So we have some KPIs that we usually ask to look at from a monthly to quarterly basis. We have also events or marketing activities where it could be relevant for venture partners to be part of. We also have basically a voice in our ecosystem. We feel that a lot of what we say is missing in the ecosystem, and you could be a relay to that voice and help us basically bring that thought leadership to the table. We can also identify new startups for the portfolio together. So it can come from your network, or it can come from inbound activities. You can also basically act as a subject matter expert for the corporations we work with. So that also is interesting for them to rely on someone who understands the language. You can also support the governance of the startup, because these are young companies. They don't have a super strong governance or board structure, so you can facilitate there quite a lot, actually. You can also basically bring potential investors to the table because of your network. And that is basically not the heart of the conversation. So who is the ideal venture partner? Because the way we are thanking you for doing this job with us is to basically share a part of our carryover that is indexed on your venture line, which means that if you have three startups and they're contributing to our fund carryover, this is where we will calculate basically your contribution, and we will basically have a share model, which means that this cannot be seen as a full-time job. So usually this ideal venture partner is someone who is already in a job and basically looking to have a fit in the venture capital space or the open innovation space. And that role means that it will give to this person visibility and experience in working with venture capital experts. This also means that you will likely be asked to enter the board of those startups. So that is not a condition, but it happens that we would ask to have like a board membership to just ensure that the governance is structured properly. And you could also, and this is something that could be discussed ad hoc, case by case, have the possibility to buy preferred stock to those startups if there is a possibility. Sometimes there isn't. So all in all, this is basically what we wanted to share, just to make it super simple. If you're interested, just go on our website and basically fill up the form and share, for example, your CV and say that you wanted to be part of our venture partner pool. Okay. So that's pretty much all. So if you had any questions for the second office hour, it will not be me, it will be my colleague who will drive the conversation there. But between this one and the other one, if you have specific questions, please put it in the comment section below and we will look at it and address it next time. So my colleague Sam and my colleague Michele will be the ones driving the episode 2 and 3. But rest assured that if you have any question, we'll monitor it and we'll come back to you. On that note, if there is no question, which seems to be not the case, so we'll leave you here. And if you need to contact us for any more questions, or if you're interested to learn more about Allegory Capital and the work we do, those office hours will be usually weekly for a couple of weeks. I would say this will take us until the end of Jan, maybe February, depending on the amount of topics we can cover. Okay. Thank you so much. And from the sunny and beautiful Barcelona here, where I am for the week, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for watching, and to the next episode. Thank you.